My hands trembled slightly as I stood frozen in the middle of the hotel room. Luca's words hung in the air like storm clouds, ready to pour. I need you to trust me. But more importantly, you need to decide right now. Do you want to know the whole truth? Because once I tell you, you can't unknow it. Trust him? I had married this man on a whim to send a message to Jacob and Madison. But what started as a petty rebellion had somehow become complicated, real. I nodded slowly, every instinct inside me at war. Tell me. Luca's jaw tightened. He sat down on the bed and motioned for me to do the same. I sat, but at the far edge, like space would somehow cushion the blow. I used to work for someone dangerous, he began, back in Italy. My family was tied into something messy, illegal businesses. I didn't want to be a part of it, but you don't just walk away from people like that. I swallowed hard. So you ran? I tried. I disappeared. Changed my name. Used a friend's startup app to blend into a crowd of rich, disconnected people who wouldn't ask too many questions. That's how I met you. My brain tried to absorb his words, but they were heavy, laced with unspoken threats. And now, I asked, I think someone found me. That text wasn't random. It was a warning. We sat in silence for a long time. My mind kept flipping between panic and disbelief. So what do we do now? I finally asked, I'll protect you. I won't let anything happen to you, Natalie. But we need to be careful. We leave tomorrow. Quietly. No goodbyes. I stared at him. You want to run again? It's not running. It's surviving. The next morning, we packed quickly. I texted Rachel a vague excuse about food poisoning and needing to rest. I avoided Jacob and Madison entirely. We left the resort in a rented black sedan, driving down Ocean Drive like we were just another couple leaving a romantic getaway. But I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every time Luca checked the rearview mirror, I noticed. Every time he changed lanes for no reason, my heart rate spiked. Are we being followed? I asked. He didn't answer. We ended up in a quiet Airbnb in Coconut Grove, a small guest house with high wooden ceilings and too many windows. That night, I curled up on the couch while Luca checked all the locks and pulled the curtains. I'm sorry, he said quietly. For what? For dragging you into this. For turning something spontaneous and fun into this. I turned to face him. Luca, if you had told me who you really were from the start, I probably would have run the other way. He looked down. But now, after everything, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to run anymore either. He looked up, hope flickering in his eyes. You mean that? I nodded. I mean, it scares me. But I'm here. He reached for my hand, and for a moment, the world outside disappeared. The next day, the past finally caught up. We had just finished breakfast when someone knocked. 3 knocks. Calm. Precise. Luca's face drained of color. Stay in here, he said. I reached for his arm. Luca. But he was already at the door. Through a crack in the curtain, I saw the man waiting outside, mid-40s, in a beige suit that looked too crisp for Miami's humidity. Clean cut, cold eyes. They spoke in Italian. Fast, urgent. Then the man's voice rose. Luca stepped back. Who is he? I whispered when Luca came back inside, face pale. Someone sent to bring me back. He says if I don't return voluntarily, things will get worse. For both of us. My chest tightened. So what do we do? He grabbed my hand. We fight back. The next few days were a blur of fake IDs, burner phones, And Luca, making calls to contacts I didn't know he had. Rachel helped us remotely. She didn't ask questions, just got us what we needed. We moved again, this time to a friend's condo in Chicago. It was cold and sterile, but it gave us breathing room. One evening, Luca made pasta while I read news headlines on my phone, half expecting to see our names. "You're quiet," he said. "I'm just thinking." "About what?" I turned to him. This all started because I wanted to prove something to Jacob. Now I'm knee-deep in something I never expected. But weirdly, I don't regret it. He smiled softly. "Neither do I." We laid low for weeks. But secrets never stay buried. One morning, I got another message. This one wasn't a warning. It was a video. Luca, in Italy, arguing with someone, a gun flashing. I dropped the phone. When he saw my face, he picked it up and played the clip. "I told you," he said quietly. "I was involved, not because I wanted to be, but I had to survive." I turned away. "Tell me the truth, the whole truth, right now." He sat down, voice low. I was working as a courier, delivering things. I never asked what. One day, I found out it was weapons, illegal arms. I tried to back out. They threatened my family. That video, it was the day I tried to walk away. I didn't shoot anyone, but they made it look like I did. Tears stung my eyes. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I wanted you to believe I was better than that." That night, I packed a bag. I didn't say anything, just left a note. "I need to think." I stayed at a motel 2 blocks away. I needed clarity. Was I falling for a version of Luca that didn't exist? But even alone, I couldn't stop thinking of him, of the way he made me laugh, of how he looked when he talked about building a better life. 3 days later, Rachel called. "You need to come back. Now." "Why?" "Because the guy who sent you that first text, he's dead." My blood ran cold. Back at the condo, Luca looked like a ghost. "I didn't do it," he said the moment I stepped in. "I know." We didn't touch, just stood there, breathing each other's air. "I think it's over," he said. "Or it's just beginning," I replied. 6 months later, we move again, this time under real names. Clean slate, new town, small home in Vermont where no one asked too many questions. Luca opened a small woodworking business. I started a blog about love and second chances. Some nights, I still look over my shoulder. But every morning, I wake up next to a man who once carried secrets bigger than both of us and chose to tell the truth. We didn't meet the traditional way. Ours wasn't a typical love story, but we chose it over and over again. And maybe, just maybe, that's the real fairy tale. Love, lies, and second chances. What would you have done in Natalie's shoes? Drop your thoughts below. If this story had you hooked, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who loves a wild, messy love story.